Welcome to my channel, eFoil Lake Powell, where I love to share all things eFoil and Lake Powell, and whenever they can combine, even better. This video is specifically dedicated to the high water level of 2024 reached in July for a maximum of a 29-foot elevation rise from the low compared in April to July. And in this video, we're going to explore the south end of the lake through Wahweap, starting in Lone Rock and ending at Antelope Point Marina. If this is your first time here and you enjoy what you see, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. And if it's not your first time here and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now. And if you'd like to skip ahead to certain areas that I explore in this video, there will be timestamps in the description below. There are three reasons for which Lake Powell exists: for water conservation, electricity production, and recreation. I will always find a way to enjoy Lake Powell regardless of the lake level, but we're definitely concerned about all three reasons nonetheless. We shall begin at Lone Rock. So here we are at Lone Rock Beach, and over here you can see that the lake has reached past Lone Rock and into the canyon behind Lone Rock. And you can actually go into this canyon quite a ways. Last year I took my eFoil in there for some exploration. You can check out that video and other videos where I explored the entire Wahweap Bay with my eFoil at the max level last year, which was 4 feet lower. So it'll be really similar, and I might try to do the same thing again this year. We'll see. And as common in the summertime, there's lots of people that have come down here to camp in their RVs, tents. So even though there is a high chance of getting stuck in the soft sand out here, if you stick to the routes that have gravel, you'll be fine. So starting up here is where the parking lot was, and the last bit of asphalt that you will see. And if you stick to the routes that are to the north, you'll generally be okay. And then there's one other route that is also known as the launch ramp of Lone Rock, and it is roughly where this truck over there is moving, and we're going to go over there next. So that is the furthest south gravel road that you can take. So once again, stick to the routes that have gravel and you'll generally be fine, but use caution. Soft sand, if you've never been in it before, is much softer than you think. It might be a little odd for me to point out these restrooms, but this one here in front of my car is a movable restroom, whereas these ones way back here, you can see one just above my car there, and another one behind the bush there. Those ones way back there, those ones are permanent. And so if the water was at its highest level, it would go pretty close to where those restrooms are. But the lake is not at its full level, and the lake is over here and down the hill. Just for kind of more reference, we have some tents over there just to show how far down it is. And so going any further down is where you're going to need four-wheel drive and four-wheel drive experience, because it's very soft sand past where I'm standing now. So this is the furthest south road that you can take that has gravel, and you will be generally safe without getting stuck. It starts where the asphalt ends, next to the blue dumpsters there in the middle. So that's where you can offload your trash. And then you go past the dumpsters and down this road until you are standing where I'm standing. And this is the last spot where you can park. Last spot that you can go and not get stuck. But still, use at your own risk. And the launch ramp area also ends roughly here. It only goes a little bit past where the rest of the gravel goes as far as how close to the water it goes. But because we're generally closer to the water here, we're not as high up, it does get you closer. That might have been a little bit confusing, but you know, back where we were, it's much higher up. And when you drive down here, it doesn't feel like you're going closer to the water, but you definitely are. So this is the closest you can get to the water with any kind of grip, gravel, in order to launch at your own risk a boat here at this location. And this is definitely the most happening spot here at Lone Rock Beach. Now let's go over to the StateLine launch ramps, auxiliary, and the original. And I actually think that if the water reaches a level at which it submerges the original StateLine ramp, it'll also be at a level where this unofficial Lone Rock ramp will be much easier to use. So that will be really cool. Hopefully we see that next year. So follow me over to StateLine. Lucky number 13. There are 6 total permanent restroom locations, and wouldn't it be grand to see the lake up as high as these restrooms once again. And they're just a typical porta potty outhouse, you know, style of restroom, nothing too special inside, but it allows you to do your business, and that's what's important. And now we're coming back to where the campers were and where we were standing before. 2x zoom. And then the lake is a little bit down the hill from there. We'll come around to the parking lot next to the facilities and the last bit of asphalt right here. From Lone Rock restrooms to the StateLine restroom, but I wanted to point out this map real quick. This shows the lake at its fullest level. We have Castle Rock, which is an island, and there's no Castle Rock cut. It's just really easy to go around. And then this is Lone Rock where we were, but the lake level is cut off at about this point. And then this is more of a canyon instead of a bay back in there. Let's turn around and let's look at the StateLine ramps. So there's Castle Rock right there in the middle of the screen, and the blaring sun behind, the reflection of the sun rather. Down there is the original StateLine launch ramp that is currently used for paddle sports only, because the StateLine auxiliary, which is down over here, sorry for the brightness and the haze, because there was a fire, some wildfires recently, and a lot of that haze and smoke is still settling. The top of the StateLine launch ramp. And over here is the gravel turnoff to go to the StateLine auxiliary, which was created in order to extend the StateLine launch ramp in a sense. The actual original StateLine launch ramp could not be extended normally because it was already to the edge of the cliff, and so they made an appendage ramp in the spot where the swim beach used to be. But the original ramp has been turned into a location for paddle craft only. No motorized vessels, except for the hand portable ones such as e-surf craft and e-foils. And this is a spot for daytime parking only. No overnight parking, no camping, no trailers, just daytime use for those that want to come down for a quick swim, go kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, e-foiling, what have you, and then leave and enjoy other beautiful areas of the Glen Canyon area. We're at the very top of the StateLine auxiliary launch ramp, and just as I suspected, I think this ramp is exactly the same height above the water as the beginnings of the Lone Rock unofficial launch ramp. Hopefully next year we'll have a great snow season and runoff, and if there's enough water to submerge this ramp, two things are going to happen at that level. The original ramp is going to reopen for launching boats, and the Lone Rock unofficial ramp will become a lot easier to use for those who want to take the risk to use it. So let's hope and pray for that to occur next year in 2025. Lake Powell Resort and Wahweap Launch Ramp. When the water is at its highest level, I've seen pictures where the water comes really close to this sidewalk that goes around the outside of the lodge here, which is really crazy to think about. I mean, looking at the picture, it looked so close that if there was some crazy, person who wanted to be a daredevil and jump off, they could possibly run and jump and dive into the water. If the water ever gets that high again, I do not recommend doing so. And there is the Wahweap Ramp right down there. Let's drive down. Wahweap Launch Ramp. And we have a houseboat retrieval going on. So it requires a long truck bed and a lot of depth in order to launch and retrieve these large houseboats. At the end of the trailer, there are some floating buoys to help guide the boats right onto the trailer. Fire and ice. Very nice. There it is. A little extra push, a little extra depth. It gets it up on the trailer. One houseboat coming in and one houseboat going out. One houseboat going out and another coming in. And just for fun, let's reset one of my trip counters and see how long this ramp is currently. All right, concrete meets the asphalt, and we are at 0.2 miles. I'm only going to spend a minute on the Castle Rock Cut, but I really want to talk about is the Lake Powell Water Database website. This website is super helpful for learning about and keeping track of data on water levels, as well as what ramps and passages such as the Castle Rock Cut are open or available or not. The Lake Powell Water Database website suggests that the Antelope Point public launch ramp might be open, but to go at your own risk and slowly. However, when you arrive, you will find that there are barricades blocking the way from launching any significant vessel with a trailer. So this location has been and continues to be a wonderful location for launching paddle sports, kayaks, paddle boards, and an e-foil or other hand portable craft, as you see here. So this is another one of my favorite locations to come because of the convenience of being able to pack up my gear into my Camry and drive really close to the water's edge and go surf and fly. I believe these jet skis that you see here were brought over, and then they were playing and visiting with family that were also at the ramp. I do not believe they were launched at the ramp. you will notice that one side of the ramp is deeper than the other. There's an additional extension. So at present, if the barricades were not there, you would only be able to launch a boat on this end of the ramp only. So hopefully next year, the water levels will rise significantly higher for launching. But you can go over to the valet launch ramp. It's not shown in this video, but I do show the valet launch ramp in my other videos that I've done in the past of Lake Powell water updates. So you can go see that deep chasm in the rock through red sandstone, as if Moses parted, the red rock instead of the Red Sea. It's quite a magnificent sight if you've never seen it before. I recommend checking it out. See you next time. This is the end of Antelope Canyon in the year 2024 at the lake's highest level for the year. The lake rose about 29 feet from the low up to the max for the year 2024. All right, let's surf and fly out of here.